Hey guys, just finished watching Legends of Tomorrow, Season 4, Episode 15, Terms of Service. This one was an interesting episode. Some things were really good, like the Constantine stuff in Hell and stuff, that was really, really good. Some of the Gary stuff was a little bit too silly and kind of getting annoying for me. But we start off this episode with Neuron, and he makes the app and stuff, so we saw the trailer for the stuff. And we see most of the episode just deals with that, and then Gary playing around with his fairy godmother and stuff. And this stuff with Gary playing with his fairy godmother is getting kind of annoying. I'm getting annoyed with the Gary character, Gary, Mona. Those two characters can really just they could kill them off in the show, and I think the show would be better without them. They're just getting really annoying. But I guess if I had to choose one to get rid of, I would choose Mona over Gary and stuff. But I mean, because sometimes Gary is a bit too much. Like this episode, it was just too much Gary in this episode for my liking and stuff. But it was kind of okay. It was the way they did it. It's just annoying the way they stuff. But the John Constantine, in Hell, forced to make a choice between Ray and Astra and stuff. That was really good. Although it's disappointing that they could get the exact same Astra from the original, Constantine show. Maybe it's because it's also been a while. The actress doesn't look the same age. Maybe that's why. But why not just have, I don't know, how old is the actress and how old is she changed? Not too much. They even use this shot. They have a different actress portraying her, and then they use a shot that goes very fast. A couple of shots, it goes over a couple of frames very fast. But if you pause it, you can see it's a different Astra than they were using in the episode when they recreated the, Astra being dragged to hell from the Constantine show. So, and I think that's interesting. Bringing more points, more huge plot points from the original show, and having that part of the show. I mean, obviously it would be just because it's part of the character's development stuff and you have those parts. But it's interesting that they don't have, any other key storylines. You don't have any of the characters we haven't seen any of the other characters from the Constantine show. We've seen one character here and there, but nothing like all the other main characters or anything like that from that show. And it still gets me, every time they do reference that show, it always reminds me that in that show, that we saw as a cameo, as an Easter egg, was the helmet of Naboo, Dr. Fate's helmet. And I think that was something that I always leave it in all my videos ever since John Constantine's been joining the show. There's always these images there, even if I forget to talk about it. I always want to remind the audience that that technically is in this universe now if they're connecting that show and stuff. And I think that's something interesting that I'd like to see play with future on. I'd love to see them tackle Dr. Fate and bring them into the show. I don't know if they could do that on this show just because it'd be a higher budget type thing, but it could be something that someone puts on, for the big crossovers, and then they could do it. Then they can make it a huge part, but a lot more money into it for the crossovers. And I think that could be really an interesting way to save something like that for a season finale or something like that. Someone could put on the helmet of Naboo, have it on for like one episode, end of season type thing, and then take off and go be Dr. Fate forever. And that's how you get rid of that character without permanently getting rid of it. So they're just gone off doing Dr. Fate stuff. They only come back when they're needed, when fate is at stake, right? Type thing. And I think that could be really interesting dealing with that. So we see that he chooses Astra and stuff, and we see that Astra is actually older, and she decides to not leave Hell. And I think that's really interesting with that. And she turns out to be I guess she's gone evil, spending so much time in Hell and stuff. That was really interesting there. But we also have Nora. Nora ends up turning into Gary's fairy godmother, and he sends her to Hell to go help Constantine save Ray and stuff. So I think that's going to be interesting to see where things go with that. But everyone was worried when Nora was sent to Hell, but she was sent. When everyone else was, Gary didn't see that Nora was now the fairy godmother, and everyone else was like, why didn't you send her back to Hell? Trying to stop him. But to me, it just didn't make sense as to, okay, she's getting sent to Hell, but she's getting sent to Hell on his wishes, right? So how does that, how does that work? Is she going to have the powers down there? I think that's going to be interesting just to play with that. But to me, it's just like, well, she's gone down to Hell, and she was sent there to wish and help him. Wouldn't that just she'd have to go down there, complete his wishes, and then leave, and that's it, help him escape, and that's do the full 100% of the wish that Gary did, which is go to Hell and come back with the Constantine and Ray type thing. So I think that'll be interesting to play with that, to see as to where things kind of go with that, to see as to how things go. Or, because he sent her to Hell, being in Hell, does that cancel out the rest of his wish? She got to Hell and that's it, the rest of the wish, trying to help Constantine and all that stuff, just gets annulled because she's in Hell type thing, and she can't finish out the wish. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. Does Nora come out of hell just as Nora without being the fairy godmother? I think that could be something fun to play with for next episode. But it looks like there's a lot packed in for the last episode. We see that Zarya as a kid has the egg, the dragon egg, and it's hatching type thing. So that'll be interesting to see where things go with that. It looks like there's a lot jam-packed in the next episode, so we'll have to wait and see as to where things go. But I really like diving into this, Constantine stuff in Hell, and I wish they would kind of focus more stuff on that and dealing with that and stuff. It feels like there's just so much going on. You have Constantine in Hell, you have, the Neuron and Ray's body, you have all this stuff going back and forth. I wish they would just kind of focus on one thing and just kind of deal with one thing at a time instead of having so much jam-packed into these episodes. I really think they should dive more into this, but hopefully this sets up for the next season being a little bit more like right now what Constantine's dealing with in Hell, and a little bit more, bring a little bit more of the tone of Constantine's show into here, that seriousness from that show, and a little just turn down a little bit of the silliness on this show. I know that's the whole idea, the whole point, but I'd like it to be a little bit more legendary like it was in the first season. And be, a little bit more serious like the tone of the Constantine show was. I think that's something that I'd be like to see. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with this. I'm definitely excited to see how things end. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.